Hello, welcome to my little paintbrush. I am Miss Sarah, and today we get to paint the cutest little merghost with a pumpkin. This is a class favorite. Super simple and a great introductory course to color and how to separate our colors and create something really cohesive and cute. I hope you have a good time with me. Remember, we're learning together, so just have a good time and learn with me, okay? We're going to be using a couple of brushes today. I've got a flat brush, and I have what's called a detail brush or a line brush, and then I have a smaller flat brush. You can use whatever works best for you. And remember that we're recording this video, so if you feel like Miss Sarah is going a little too fast or a little too slow for you, you can pause, you can forward, you can rewind, go back, okay? That is what's so awesome about painting at home with me, okay? So let's get started. I'm going to first take my largest brush and put it in some water. We always want to start with some water because our bristles are dry and our acrylic paint is thirsty, so we've got to make sure our bristles have water in them. I'm going to just dip my brush in my water, load it up with it, tap it off, okay? And you'll see here my plate full of paint, right? All my colors are laid out for me. That way I can easily get to them and I won't contaminate it all at once, and I can mix colors if I want to. So I encourage you to do that. First, let's take our big brush and load it up with some white. This is optional. I'm going to paint my mercat ghost here white really quick. Your canvas is white, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you feel like I want to skip that part and not paint it white, I just want it to be my canvas color. Did you know we have lots of artists that do that? They don't even paint this white first. They love the texture of the canvas and they'll just leave it at that. So you can do that too. I'm going to just paint over it really quick in case you want to do that with me. And I'm not being too picky about it. The only reason I encourage younger artists not to do this is it's easy to paint over the lines and lose them. And then you won't be able to see your outline anymore. So just be careful if you do choose to paint your ghost white that you try not to paint inside the lines or cover them up. You want to be able to see them for later. Okay, so I'm going to carefully go around my pumpkin and my eyes. I don't want to cover them up, right? So we just got to be really careful with that. But I just did a quick little painting there to make sure it's covered okay. My clip is coming off just a little bit here. I want to make sure it doesn't move on you guys while I am painting. So I'm just going to fix it really quick. Make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Now let's let our cat or our ghost, I think I'm just going to call it a ghost. Okay. We're going to let it dry. All right. Miss Sarah's just going to take a little bit of tape here real quick. This is called painter's tape. It holds up my painting. And because it's coming off my clip for some reason, I'm going to tape it right there. That way it doesn't move on you guys or me while I'm doing this. There we go. Just gonna hold it up. There we go. Okay. All right, so now that my Merkitty Ghost is all painted white, I'm gonna let it start drying while we paint our background. My background is a turquoise color, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of white and mix it with turquoise. See that? A little bit of white mixed with my turquoise. So just scoop it up. And this is where you get to decide how light or dark you want your turquoise to be. Maybe you want it darker or maybe you want it lighter. Just keep adding white until you like it. Okay, I want it a little lighter. So I kept mine pretty light. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down around my mercat ghost here. That way I don't smear my paint with my hand as I go. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to try and go around my bow and my ears. Like that. And we have our little ghost tail here. Gotta be careful right there, right? Okay. Now here's something fun you can try. After you put on some color, put a little bit of white on the corner of your brush like this, and face that white towards your ghost. Brush around it with that white. What this is going to do is make it look like your ghost is glowing a little bit. Isn't that fun? Totally optional. You don't have to do that. I just like to do it because I think it looks cool. But you do what you think looks cool, because we're all different. We all create differently. So you do what you like. I'm going to go over to this side, okay? I put a little bit of white on the corner of my brush. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to paint around. See how that white makes it look like it's glowing a little bit? Kind of fun. I'm going to brush it in all the way up. There we go. Now let's do the top part with the ear. Don't want to miss that little spot. It's really easy to miss because it's at the very top. So we don't always see it. And there's another little spot right between the ear and the bow right there. See that? Tiny spot. Okay, another thing we encourage our artists to do is to wrap their canvas. That means you reach up tall and paint the top of your canvas and your sides. It just looks really pretty. Not all artists like to do that, so you don't have to. Just a suggestion if you want to try. Okay, now that that's done, let's let it dry. I'm going to rinse my brush. Good job. And next, we're going to use, let's see, a little bit of orange. I'm going to take my smaller flat brush now and pick up some orange here, or some white, and mix it with some orange. Okay? Now if you use a lot of white, your orange is going to get really light. And if you want a light orange, that's great. If you want a darker orange though, then you're going to want to use less white, right? Okay, now let's do our bow first. When you come up to do your bow, you want to do the outside circles first. Do the outside first. So I always go around the edges so I get a nice outline for my bow. Okay, and then I fill it in. Like that. If you do the outside edges first, then you'll get a nice, clean, smooth stroke there. See that? I have a little drip though on my brush, so it's not working with me. There we go. Get that drip off and then we'll go back around. There it is. And then brush it out. Now let's go do the other side. Same thing. I'm gonna start at the corner. Try and go all the way around without picking up my brush. Ooh, it's really tricky. It's hard to do. It's just something to practice. And then we'll fill it in. There you go. Now it's just like tying a shoe. So once you do the sides, they're two bunny ears, right? Then we cross it and we get the middle. So then I fill in the middle, and that way the middle circle, as I go all the way around, it covers the edges and it looks like it's on top because it covers the two outside shapes. Okay, so I saved the middle for last. All right, now that that's done, let's go do our pumpkin. Oh, actually, do our nose. We're going to do our nose before we do our pumpkin. Our nose is smaller, so if you need a smaller brush, you can switch brushes and use a smaller one than Miss Sarah. I'm still using my bigger one. But sometimes it's tricky with a big one, so if you feel like it's a little too hard, switch over, okay? All right, now let's go and do our pumpkin. You've got to start at the hand and finish out that outline because we only traced some of it, huh? So you've got to finish it. And you see how I'm curving my brush and creating a rainbow shape all the way across? So I connect my rainbow shapes. I'm going to go around my eyes as best I can. It's okay if we paint inside our eyes a little bit, as long as you can see them. And maybe you're going to change the shape of your eyes a little bit. And then I'm using the toe of my brush to do these tiny little spaces. You know what the toe is? That's the tippy point of your brush. Okay, so I'm using that tippy point of my brush to do those little tiny spaces. Just like that. Love it. Now for the bottom of our pumpkin, we're going to connect smiley faces. So I'm going to start at the corner and connect my smiles all the way down. See, I'm curving my brush in a smile shape all the way across and connecting it to the hand. There we go. All the way across. There we go. All the way to this other little hand. And we can't forget our tooth. We've got a little tooth right here sticking up. So I'm going to paint that little tooth too. And there it is. So cute. Now I'm just going to make sure all of my paint is brushed and I don't have any thick paint sticking out anywhere and clumping up. I'm going to try and make sure it's all brushed. Looks good though. Okay, let's make sure our nose has a nice layer on there. I'm going to go around my nose one more time. Just making sure everything's covered. I always go over it. Make sure I'm doing my little rainbow shape again. Maybe you got all your clumps out and you think it looks great, and that's awesome. Okay, now you might need another layer on your bow. So before you move on, go up to your bow and double check it. If you feel like you need another layer like Miss Sarah, your bow should be dry enough for you to do that. If not, wait just a minute and come back to it, okay? I'm just gonna go do another layer on my bow, making sure it's nice and covered and really orange. Because this orange needs to really pop, huh? Needs to stand out. Okay, I'm gonna go around this other side too, just along that edge. Make sure I have a good shape happening. You may outline it with me later, and you may not. So you just want to make sure your edges are ready for whatever you decide to do. All right, curve it around. Make sure we have our shape on there, and I'm brushing it out. There we go. It looks so good. I hope you love yours as much as I love mine. This is so fun. I love this painting. It's one of my favorites. Okay. Got a little orange on my ghost tail there. I'm gonna rinse my brush out because all of our orange is done now. Make sure my brush is really clean. Go. Put a little white on my tail. Cover that orange right back up, right? There we go. No worries. All right, so now that we have all of our orange on there, we get to start working with some black. And I'm going to teach you something that you get to try. And it's called shadow work. Now the only thing is, if you are a young artist, shadow work can be pretty tricky. So I want you to just watch first and decide if it's something you want to do or not. Okay, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm going to show you another thing to do instead. So first, I want you to take your flat brush and make sure it's got some white on it. Just like that. Okay, then we're going to turn it and use the corner to get a little bit of black on it. I'm going to wipe my black and my white together. See how what they do is they come together and create a gray color. Okay, now I'm going to take this gray and I'm going to face my gray up towards my bow. And what I'm going to do with it is just create a little bit of a shadow under my bow. Just like this. So I'm just going to follow the bottom part of my bow. See how it just creates a little bit of a shadow there? Okay, just like that. Now you don't need to do this. It's very tricky because what happens is we can easily get too much shadow, and pretty soon our ghost isn't white anymore. It just turns black, huh? That happens. So if you're worried about it, don't even do it. It's okay. This is something that takes some practice. I'm going to do it under the pumpkin too. It's just an option for those that want to try and are interested in doing something a little new. Just going to add a little shadow. And what shadows do too is they add dimension. So it makes it so our picture, oops, I caught some orange on my brush. Makes it so our picture isn't flat. There we go. Just got to paint over to orange. I accidentally grabbed some orange there. It happens. Put a little bit of the darker back in there. See that? So it makes it look like our pumpkin is casting a little bit of a shadow against our ghost. Okay, now there's also a little bit of a shadow under the nose to make it look like our nose is coming out. Just like that. Cute. I love it. Now once we get our little shadow on here, then I'm going to put some along the tail where it curves a little bit. You can also just put a little gray on your brush if you want to mix gray. That might be easier for you if you want to. Okay, then I'll add a little bit of a shadow just against the ear here. Cute. We have one there. And then we have a little bit on our ear here. Like that. The top of the head. Just like to add a little bit in some places. And there you go. Just like that. And that's it. Now, if you don't want to do that, don't do it. We are going to outline, and it's going to look adorable with the outline. You don't have to add the shadow. Okay, so let's do our eyes next. I'm going to take a flat brush. You can also use a round brush or a detail brush, whatever you like best. And I'm just going to come up here to my shape. And first, we're going to outline the shape with our brush. So we have our egg-shaped eyes, huh? Go all the way around and fill it in. And we have artists that love to add eyelashes to their ghost. If you want to add eyelashes, go for it. It's pretty cute. We've done it both ways. Always cute. Go. Ooh. There, we got it. Brush it in. Here we go. You can start seeing your ghost now. She's starting to come alive. Okay, let's switch brushes. We gotta finish up some of our detail work now. You're almost done. So I'm going to take my detail brush. It looks like this. It's a pointed brush or a line brush. Okay, we're going to add a little water to our black so it's thinner. And for those that didn't do shadows with me, this is what you're going to do now. You're just going to outline, starting at the top, you're going to outline all of your ghost, okay? Start here at the top. Here we go. We're going to do the head, just like that. I start at the top so I don't smear any of my paint. It's really easy to smear all of our hard work if we're not careful. So I like to start at the top and work my way down. Let's do the ears now. And next we're going to do our bow. And I'm going to start at the top of the bow. Do the outside first, right? Just like we talked about. Go around. Oh, got a little bit of a lump right there. I might have to touch it up with some paint. Got a clump of my paint right there. It's okay. Go all the way around. And I'm going to go do the other side. Oh, I don't want to smear. See, I smeared it a little bit. It's okay though. I'll show you how we're going to fix it. So if you ever have anything like that happen, like Miss Sarah, just take a clean brush, make sure it's dry. And see, I'm just going right over it with some white. Super easy to fix it. Same with our blue over here. I can just go over it. Just add a little bit of blue and touch it up. Like it never happened, right? Okay. Now we're going to do the center of our bow here in just a minute, but I'm going to give it a second to dry. And while it's drying, let's go down this side of our kitty cat ghost. Come follow it down as far as you can before you run out of paint. See how far Miss Sarah can go. Ooh, that's pretty good. If you have enough water on in your paint and it's nice and thin, you can usually go pretty far. There we go. And then we'll do this one. On this side, we're going to come down and around that tail. And bring it right off our canvas. So cute. There we go. Love it. All right, let's go see if our bow is dry enough that we can do the circle without smearing anything. I think we should be able to. Okay, so we're going to try and go around our circle. Ooh, almost there. Yay, we did okay. All right, now on each side, we have our little half circle. One there, one straight across on the other side. Little half circle. Got a little bit on there, but that's okay. Touch it up later. Okay. Now let's let our bow dry for a minute. Let's do our little nose here. You can go all the way around, or you can just do the bottom. And then let's do our arms. Holding on to our little pumpkin, our little hands or arms. Go all the way around. It's kind of a half oval. There we go. Cute. Okay, now let's do our pumpkin. Ready to do the pumpkin? We're just gonna go around the top. Remember, we're doing our rainbow shapes. So I do a rainbow shape and I stop. Then I do my rainbow shape in the middle, stop. And I'll do my last rainbow shape all the way around. That, and I'll do the same on the bottom. We'll do our smile, stop, smile and stop. And whenever we stop, we add those little lines up our pumpkin that we want. Instead of just going all the way across, we stop and pick up our brush. Cute. Now let's add a little stem. Our little stem is just right up the middle. You're going to curve a smile. Fill it in. You can have a big stem or a little stem, whatever you want. And then let's fill in our eyes. Triangle eyes. I like to outline my shape first, right? Outline it first and then fill it in. So we're going to do our shape first, like that, and then fill it in. Oop. And then our smile. Outline our smile first. And you can change this if you want to. We'd love to see what you guys come up with. I'll do a different face on your pumpkin than what Miss Sarah's doing. You can change it up. Just filling it in now with some black. Just like that. Perfect. I love it. Okay. Let it dry for just a minute while we do our whiskers. Our kitty needs some whiskers, right? Okay, so our kitty cat whiskers, they kind of come right next to the eye. So you're going to come down from the eye, and you can take it right off the page if you want to. I ended it, but you can take it right off if you want to. And what I like to do, right in the middle, is I like to do my two outside whiskers coming out on an angle, and then one right down the middle of those two whiskers, just like that. And then we're going to do it on the other side. Okay, I'm going to try and come straight across. And I'm going to do my two outside whiskers first. One there, and then I have one here, and then one right down the middle. Just like that. So cute. All right, let's let that dry for just a minute. I'm going to rinse my brush. If you have anything you need to touch up, you can do it if it's dry. You see on Miss Sarah's pumpkin right here, I have a little bit of black, so I'm just going to go right over it with some orange to cover it up. Same with my bow here. I have a little bit of black showing, so I'm just going to go right over it like that. You can always go back and do little touch-ups but you want to wait until your paint dries to do that. All right, let's do our highlighting. You're almost done. The last thing we have to do. So you can take your detail brush, just make sure it's really clean before you highlight, okay? And we're gonna put some white on it, just like that, okay? And let's start with our nose. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of light on the top of my nose, just like that. See how it makes your painting pop a little bit? And let's put some just along the top of our pumpkin. One there, one right in the middle, and one on the other side. And let's put some in the stem too. A little bit of light in the stem. And we'll put some along the bottom. One there. We'll put one here. And one here. So cute. And then I like to put some just in my eyes here, so they stand out a little bit. Yeah, just a little along the mouth. And if you decide you don't like that and you want something different, you can. You're painting, you can do whatever you want. Now I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting just in my bow. And this is another way to do it. Keep doing it with your detail brush or take a flat brush. And you can learn to float a little bit by putting some white on the corner of your brush like this. Okay? And you'll face it out and just curve your brush. And the difference with this kind of highlighting is it's a little bit lighter and it fades into your color a little bit more. So it's just a little different, but you can do whatever you like best. Whatever is easier and you enjoy the most. That's the most important. There we go. Now let's take our brush and flip it around. Use the back of it to stamp it in our white. Look how messy Miss Sarah is. I'm a messy painter. I just have too much fun mixing colors. I get my chocolate chip, it looks like this, and I stamp it right on the top of the eye. And you can do it anywhere you want. You're just going to add a little bit of a reflection. Isn't that cute? It just helps finish it up. Now the last part, which I love so much, if you have some glitter, you can add some glitter to your painting too. I have some glitter on my paint palette. You can't really tell because it looks white. It's right here. This is glitter. Hard to tell, huh? Now it looks like I'm about to cover it with white, but it dries clear and it makes it sparkly. I love adding glitter whenever I can. I don't know about you, but glitter is so fun. I like to focus it just on something special so that it just pops a little bit. So you could add it to your bow, or maybe you want your ghost to be glittery instead of the background. I would choose an object and make it special and add some glitter. I did the background. I'm going to add a little bit up there up top. I don't know if you can see it in this camera, but my glitter is sparkly. I love that. All right, now that I'm all done, I'm going to sign my name because I am so proud of myself. We did a lot today. We did line work and floating and shadows and learned to separate our color and stay in our shapes. That's a lot of stuff, and I hope you had a lot of fun too. I'm going to add my name so everyone knows that I did this, and I'm so proud of myself. And put there, you can add your name or your initials or a smiley face, whatever you like. Hope you had fun painting with me. Be sure to come back and let's paint again. Give us a thumbs up if you like this tutorial, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.